So next, let's take a look at editing text. And there's really quite a bit to look at. Now, if you're familiar with, of course, Microsoft Word, a lot of this will seem very easy at first. However, there are differences because you're dealing with an HTML document. So some things will work differently on the internet than it would on a page you're printing on paper. So we'll note some of these things as we take a look together. Let's go back to our page editor. And I'm just repeating some of this process so you'll know where to find. This is where we just were because we published what we have worked on. But now back to our page editor. We click on this once, and here we are. Now we're already on the About page, so the way you would open this is like this. But notice when I clicked on that, there's two different modes, Open and then Open as Text. Well, what's the difference? When you hit Open, the page is in a what you see, what you get mode. And 99% of the time, that's probably what you want to do. But what if you want to, say, embed some code in the page? Maybe it's a map from Google Maps or something like that, and they give you a little bit of script that needs to be embedded in the site. So how would you get to the code? Well, there's two ways. One way is right up here, and it's not really a good way. You click on this, and it seems for now that this is pretty jam-packed. So let's leave that. Let's go back to the page again over here, click once, and instead of hitting Open, let's Open as Text. Now, if your page looks like this, I'm just going to simply format the document. There we go. This is very easy for those that know HTML to look at. So if you needed to add a little snippet, for example, you needed to add it, you knew where to add it, you could just go right in here and add your snippet of code. Let me switch back the view to here. So now, let's look at some of the text features. Up here, these are some basic things you would see in Microsoft Word. Let's take a look at font size. Now, generally speaking, you don't want to change the font size. If you do, you want to change it by changing headlines or leave the text the way it is, because all this has been previously styled by a design company, and you want your website to look consistent. So you don't want to, on every page, change font sizes, change colors, and change things because it won't look right. But sometimes you need to have something stand out. So let's take this sentence here, and let's just look at the font size and see what happens. Let's make it much larger. By default, it's already 16. That was part of the code, but let's make it a different size. There you go. Now, there's no reason I can think of why this would look necessarily good in all cases, but sometimes you need something to stand out. Maybe it's an alert for the school, and you really want something to jump right out on the homepage. Well, that's how you do it. Now, if you don't like what you did, of course, you can undo, just like Microsoft Word. Let me hit this 2 or 3 times and put it back the way that it was. There we go. So that was font size. Let's take a look at some of these other things. Colors. And again, the same thing applies. We'll offer you a few basic colors here. And if you know the hex code, of course, that's a web coding. You can make it any color you want. But we give you some basic colors here. And again, if something needs to stand out, it needs to really stand out for some alert reason or something like that. I just made it red. You can make it bold. I can separate it so it jumps out a little bit brighter. So that's how you would change that. To clear this out, we have the clear formatting. Click, and now it's back to the way it was. I'm going to hit backspace and put that sentence back. So that's a few basic things right off the bat. Let's move ahead to our next video.